Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise in December today to ask question 107/2015 to Honourable Minister for Women, Children and Poverty Alleviation. Can the Minister outline what are the challenges that are faced by the residential home in Fiji and provide some strategies to ensure that residents are well nurtured during the care of the state?
Thank you. I give the floor to the Honourable Minister for Women, Children and Poverty Alleviation.
Madam Speaker, I rise to respond to the question raised by the Honourable MP, and I thank the Honourable MP for the question. Madam Speaker, if I may inform the House that the Ministry for Women, Children and Poverty Alleviation is legislated by law to oversee the state care homes and other residential homes operated by other organizations in the country. The operations of these homes are always a challenge because of the increase in demand to provide for residential care, especially to the children who are abused or have been neglected of parental care. Since the system sometimes takes too long to prosecute cases, these children are once again victimized because they cannot return to their own homes due to the perpetrators still being around. However, getting the children to adapt to the home environment is a big challenge for the ministry, and many a times we have resistance from the children themselves who, despite the circumstances, wish to stay with their own parents. Of course, the other challenge is we have children with special needs and disabilities, those that are mentally challenged, and at the homes these children are kept with the normal children, so that becomes a challenge for us. Of course, these children require fully trained caregivers for the whole time they are under our care. There is another challenge for us, which is very sad, is that most of these children remain in these homes because after they turn 18, they do not have a place to go to. But because we are mandated to look after the welfare of children, these children are still kept within these homes and given access to education and other services. Sometimes our homes do not have the capacity to provide for full-time caregivers for children with special needs. And if I may add on to that, currently we have 9 residential homes for children that is spread across Fiji, and if I can name them, Dilkusha Home, St. Christopher's Home, Homes of Hope, the Juvenile Rehabilitation Center for Boys, the Pearly Gates Home, St. Tabitha Safe Home and Orphanage, the Treasure House in Nandi, St. Mina's Home in Nandi, Vilumani Boys Home and Lomanio Home. 2 of these homes are under the care of the state, which is the Juvenile Rehabilitation Center for the Boys and the Pearly Gates Home. The other 7 are maintained by faith-based organizations. Currently, Madam Speaker, we have 168 children that reside in these homes mentioned above, and the breakdown is Dilkusha Girls Home, which works with the Methodist Church, has 32 residents. We have the St. Christopher Children's Home, assisted by the Anglican Church, has 29 children. The Treasure House, in conjunction with the Assemblies of God, has 22 children. St. Mina's Orphanage is it works in conjunction with the ministry's Coptic Orthodox Church, has 21 children. The Vilumani Boys Home in Ba, run by the Methodist Church, has 18 children. St. Tabitha Orphanage, run by the Greek Orthodox Church, has 14 children. The Boys Center, which is run by the state, has 11 children at the moment. The Lomanio Home, run by the Gospel Church, has 9 children. The Pearly Gates Home, assisted by the Christian Mission Fellowship. Coming back to the next question, how do we ensure that these children are nurtured well during the time they are under the state care? Madam Speaker, we have the Juvenile Act, which requires that before any institution is approved to operate as a home for children, they must register their applications with the ministry. And of course, we have minimum standards and guidelines for residential care, and we have 9 standards all in all, and they require, the first one includes the physical safety and protection of the children. The second standard looks at the emotional and psychological well-being of the resident. Then the continuous education and development, proper care and planning while in care, independent living preparations, and having the right to qualified caregivers. Before the certification is given for any homes to operate, the department carries out a comprehensive audit of the institution to ensure that there is compliance to the standards and a clearance certificate is approved by the minister. Added on to this, we have quarterly institutional meetings between the homes and the department to discuss any issues that may arise, to see how well we can improve the service delivery and develop programs for the residents of these homes. On the same note, the government, through the department, provides funding to these homes through its NGO grants in supporting them to meet the standards and to monitor the operations of these homes. And there is continuous monitoring by the department with the Director of Social Welfare with the homes to ensure that the children are not exploited, and of course the minimum standards and standing operating procedures are maintained. Each child that is placed in the home has a care plan, which is part of this minimum standards of operations. And the government, in trying to ensure that these children are protected and cared for, provides an annual funding of $100 per child monthly. Additional funding through grants for the operation and administration of the homes are also provided. Madam Speaker, another procedure that we have is we do not allow photographing of any children while they are into the state care homes. And finally, Madam Speaker, the care of children under these homes also comply with the Convention on the Rights of the Children. And the establishment of the minimum standards for residential and endorsement by Cabinet safeguards the protection of children in these institutions, likewise makes provision for ongoing improvement of care and protection of all children under these homes. Thank you.
Thank you. Supplementary question, the Honourable Sala Kirandondro.
Thank the Honourable Minister for those comments concerning our children. And I'd like to ask the Minister what actions the Ministry is taking in regards to homes not complying with the minimum standards, particularly those with overcrowding and lack of resources in terms of nurturing the children in the homes. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Honourable Minister.
And I thank the Honourable Member for a question, because indeed it concerns the welfare for children. The Director of Social Welfare, who rightfully is the custodian of this home, has been going around recently issuing certificates of non-compliance to names I wouldn't like to homes I wouldn't like to name here. But yes, we have a monitoring program in place where we continually visit with our whole team to see the operations of the home, and as and when we see that a standard is not being complied to, we issue notices, and then if there is a need be for us to close homes, we will close these homes to ensure that they provide the care that we expect these homes to provide for our children.
Thank you. I give the floor to the Honourable Prem Singh.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I thank the Minister for her elaborate answer to the question. The question is very broad-based, I believe. The Minister has specified her answers to the child care, children's care. What is the status of the elderlies who are in homes and under social welfare care?
Thank you, Honourable Minister.
Madam Speaker, if I can respond to those. The Ministry at the moment is legislated by law to oversee the residential care homes for children. The elderly homes come under the Ministry of Health, but we do go in. As a ministry responsible for social welfare, we do go in, visit these homes, and we talk with those in charge of running these homes to ensure that standards are set. Thank you.
Thank you. The last supplementary question, I will give the floor to the Honourable Lorna Eden.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Could the Minister please advise us how much the government gives in grants to NGOs who assist with the caring of these children's homes?
Thank you, Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The government, through its budget, has an allocation of 200,000, which we have recently disbursed to the NGOs who help look after these homes. Thank you.
Thank you.